Hey everybody, V the Notary here. Hope you guys are doing well today. This video is strictly and specifically for all my notaries and loan signing agents, okay? This video is just a reminder to you guys because let me just say this. Specifically, I think this is not really as much for the newer notaries. This is actually more for our more seasoned notaries or someone, that's had, a few signings under their belt and they're getting into the groove of things. But it's just a reminder to you guys because obviously as you get more comfortable with doing loan signings, you also get more comfortable with the process and you may forget to do certain things. What am I talking about? I am speaking about following the signing directions. Okay, so for all my notaries that are and loan signing agents that are, in the game, you guys are rocking and rolling. This, you guys understand this, but for new notaries and new loan signing agents, let me just say this. This is with, doing work with title companies directly as well. But this is, kind of more specific to signing services. Every single time you get an assignment that you accept, they agree to the terms of it, you have your date set, all of that, you're going to get a set of instructions every single time. Regardless of the relationship that you've developed with that specific signing service, you're going to get directions every time. Every signing I've ever had comes with a set of directions before you even get the documents, because as you guys know, or you will find out, a lot of times documents are uploaded hella late, like last minute. That's a whole other subject. We're not even gonna get into that, which is annoying and frustrating. But aside from that, before you get anything, before you contact the client, more than likely you're going to get a set of instructions. I'm reminding you guys, to every single time, even if you feel that you have a rapport with the signing service, I've done 6, 7, 8 for them. I know what they need. I know what they want. No. Every time you have a signing and you get those directions, you guys, read them in full, in their entirety. Read the directions. There's a couple reasons why this is important. Outside of the obvious, you should always read directions when you get something that it is directing you to do something, right? But outside of the obvious, make sure you read the directions, okay? Because inside of those directions are your key to what you need to do for the loan signing. So I'm gonna give you some examples. A lot of times each loan signing will tell you, sometimes it's in a loan signing, but obviously once you get your documents, you'll know, because you're gonna have your dual tray printer, you'll know what types of paper to print on. But sometimes in the instructions, they will tell you what type of paper. What I mean by that is usually you're printing with legal paper, legal size paper, and letter size paper. But sometimes in those directions, you guys, they will be specific about what type of paper, what size they want you to print on. I have had signings, I'm not even making this up, where the directions say print on all legal, which is annoying because it's like you're gonna use up all my legal paper. But sometimes the directions will say that and the actual documents don't reflect that when you print. So let's just say if you didn't look at those directions and you just printed based off of what what the print job called for, and your printer prints out legal and letter, but those directions told you to print all on legal paper, it's gonna be a problem. You may have to do the entire signing over. So make sure that's one thing, the type of paper that you print with. The color ink. Usually, I don't think I've had a signing yet where I've had to have the client and myself sign documents with black ink. Usually you need to do signings in blue ink. Usually. However, the directions usually tell you that. So you might have a signing service or a title company that prefers black ink. You never know. That will be in the directions. Make sure you look at that as far as that. A lot of times the directions are very specific about the amount of copies that you need to print. Sometimes you might need to print an extra set of copies outside of the one that will go to the title company. And then you obviously are going to leave one with the signer, but sometimes they want an additional set of copies, which is annoying because it's like you're using up all my supplies. But If that signing calls for that, the directions will usually say this. Okay, another example, you guys, and this is so important. I live in a state where, for my specific, where I live, you use an embosser. You use an embosser for your to put your notary stamp on it, right? Mine is with an embosser, and then you use your inker, and that's it. But there are certain states where you cannot use an embosser, and you're going to usually see that in the instructions. So let's just say I'm gonna say a state where I know you can use your embosser, Texas, right? I don't live in Texas, but once you start doing loan signings, you're gonna do loan signings for people all over the country. Obviously, the signing will take place in your state. You might live in Texas and be doing a signing for a property in California. You might live in New York and you're doing a signing for a property in Florida. I literally have done signings for so many states. So that is how it's going to go, because people are buying and selling real estate all over the country, and then they're moving, and then the actual closing of that might take place in Michigan, but their property is in Kentucky. I'm just saying. So, for instance, like I said, where let's say I'm doing a signing in my state, but the property is closing in Texas. I know Texas signings, you can use your embosser, but Ohio, I believe, you cannot. So if you don't read your directions, you will miss that. Okay, so that's another example, and that's important. You would hate to do, notarizations. Let's say you have to do 10 and you have made a mistake, and that specific state doesn't call for an embosser, they call for your actual stamp, but you have used your embosser, so now you're gonna have to go back to the client and get all of that done all over again because you didn't read the directions, okay? I'm trying to think of what else is in the directions. Also, the directions usually include the title company, the point of contact that you need to call in the event the signer has a question or you have a question during the signing. This is going to happen. You're going to have signings where you need to call for clarification. It just is what it is. It's going to happen. And if you didn't read those directions, you might be fumbling at the signing, like, oh my goodness, who do I call? I don't have the point of contact, because it's not the signing service, okay? The signing service facilitates the signing. They're like the middle person, but during the signing, if you need something or have a question or need clarification, as happens very frequently, you're going to need to have the point of contact from the title company. In fact, it's a good practice. I always print out a copy of the instructions and bring it with me. That way, not only do you have any points of contact in the instructions that if you need to call, you have that, but then what I always do is I'll look the instructions over before I send the package off to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so that's a good practice, you guys. Print a copy of the instructions, put it in your little briefcase or whatever so that you have it. You can do your checks and balances with the instructions to make sure that you crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's, okay? So make sure you print a copy of the instructions out, okay? And then, and I'm not gonna go through everything that's in the instructions, but often the instructions will tell you, okay, am I shipping this back via UPS, via FedEx, via US Postal Service? And then, obviously, and sometimes not even usually, most often they have the slip, included. So you print that out and that, that's what you send the package off with. But sometimes it's in the instructions too. That I'm just giving you things that are in the instructions that you need to know before, you close out the signing. Okay. So in closing, you guys, this is just a reminder. Make sure that you are reading thoroughly the instructions for each assignment, and make sure that you are printing out a copy so that you can have that with you. It's very important that before you send that package back to the title company, that you have followed all the directions. And then, like I said, in the instructions or directions or whatever, in that document, sometimes it's the email, sometimes it's a separate document, you'll have your points of contact so that if and when you're at the signing table and you need to call someone for clarification, you'll have it there, okay? So you won't be like fumbling through your emails to figure it out. You'll have that there and you'll be good to go. All right. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share. As always, please, leave a comment, question, comment, any advice, any insight. I love to hear all of that. Make sure you guys leave that as well. Again, V the Notary, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys soon.